Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What's good, y'all? It's your man, Hezo. Welcome back to the Blacktop. I always got Nate, you feel me? Well, Hawks fans, that's not the game one that we all anticipated. I said from the beginning this was the toughest matchup for the Hawks. I mean, with the Boston defense, the versatility that they have guards that can guard Trey. And I'm going to talk about Trey a little bit later. And I'll be honest, this isn't going to be a super long recap. I mean, we were down 30 for most of the game. Fought hard in the second half, but ultimately, obviously couldn't come out with the win in the end. You can't go down by 30, 32 points in a playoff game and expect to, to come out with a dub. Now, real quick, before I get into the recap, I just want to let y'all know I'm going to postpone the What If Wednesday series. I didn't have time to drop one this past Wednesday. I didn't have time to get one recorded and everything with the play-in tournament and all that. And I had a busy weekend last weekend. It's not going away like I did before. I'm just postponing it probably till at least after maybe the first round, maybe until the conference finals, at least until there's some days in between the playoffs where I can actually have some time to record some other content. Obviously because I'm going to be doing the Hawks recap for every game for the first round, and then playoff content for the for the entire playoff, the entire playoffs. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Drop a like on the video. And let's get right into it. It's okay to admit that we're outmatched. I did not pick us to win this series. And the series is not over by any means. It's only one game. But even still, man, it's hard to be optimistic when you come out and watch your team down by 30. If y'all remember, we came out the same exact way last year against Miami when Trey was put in hell. And we ended up getting, I think, 30 piece in game one of last year. We saw the same thing this year. And I'm not going to say this is going to define the series, but again, it's okay to admit we're just outmatched, man. The Celtics are a far superior team. I did not pick us to win this series. I'm still not picking us to win this series. I think the series will be over in 5. I think it's going to take a very hot shooting night for Atlanta to even win a game. Atlanta's first half offense was absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. There's no other way to put it. They could not buy a 3. They couldn't consistently knock down shots. I think they shot 30% in the first half while Boston was pretty much getting anything they wanted. Jaylen Brown was spectacular. Jason Tatum had a relatively solid game. I think he finished with like 25 and 11, which isn't a huge, crazy box score popping number. He actually didn't really shoot the ball particularly well. I think he finished like 10 for 22 from the field. But the Celtics role guys really stepped up. Derek White had an incredible game. Horford had a solid game. Robert Williams had a solid game. Marcus Smart had an okay game. Everybody came to play for the Celtics, and nobody really came to play for the Hawks. DeJounte ended up with an okay game in the end. DeAndre Hunter hit some shots in the second half and the third quarter, but ultimately it just wasn't enough, especially when our star player, Trey Young, is a missing person once again. At what point are we going to accept the fact that the 2021 playoff run that we saw from Trey was an anomaly? It was an anomaly. He was put in jail last season against Miami. Had another poor shooting night in game 1 against Boston. He was 5 for 18, 1 for 6 from 3, and had like 5 or 6 turnovers. It's not going to get it done when your star player is consistently having poor shooting nights against these tough teams. The Celtics have the exact recipe that you need to stop Trey Young. Playoff contenders and contending teams have Trey figured out. You put a lengthy defender on him. They have multiple guards that can guard Trey. And that's why I said Boston is the worst possible matchup for Atlanta in the first round, because they have multiple guys that can guard him. Marcus Smart, Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, Jaylen Brown. They have a multitude of guys that can switch and guard Trey, especially in the pick and roll where Trey likes to operate. And Trey is not effective against teams like a Miami, like a Boston, like a Toronto, that has multiple guys that can switch, that can defend. I have came to the realization that we cannot win a championship with Trey as our best player. We have to have a player that is either better than Trey or right along the same type of caliber player, because in the playoffs, other than in 2021, Trey's been bad. Not just, oh yeah, he's been bad. Like, there's no other way to put it. He's been bad. He's shooting so poorly from the field when you go back to the Miami series and now game 1 of this series. Is this going to continue for the rest of the series? Because if so, there's going to have to be conversations in the offseason. And what I mean by that, we already know about the rumor that, the report that came out about Atlanta is given the green light. The front office has been given the green light to shop Trey. Now, I'm not advocating for a Trey trade. I'm not. But at the same time, that conversation is going to have to be there this offseason. If Trey continues to play like this in the playoffs, he has to be better. If we are going to win playoff games, you cannot have your star player making $200 million play like this. That's the biggest kind of gripe that I have, is that everybody wants to slander Dre. It was all over Twitter during the game. Dre is useless. Dre doesn't do this. Dre doesn't do that. Why is it every other player on this team gets a pass except for DeAndre Hunter? He's always the scapegoat, and I'm so sick of seeing it. I'm sick of talking about it. The team was down 30 at halftime. 30. And every single post on Twitter was, what does Dre do? Dre's so bad offensively. Dre's getting beat. As if everybody else on the Hawks was playing outstanding defense or knocking down shots. Newsflash, the entire team played like dog shit the entire first half. It wasn't just Dre. So enough with the scapegoat bullshit of slandering Dre every time he has a bad shooting night or gets beat on a defensive play. You're expecting him to guard Jason Tatum and shut him down? Is that what you're telling me? So y'all Hawks fans out there legitimately think that he's going to shut down Jason Tatum, and if he doesn't, now he's trash? What are we talking about? What are we saying? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I'm so tired of talking about this topic because I feel like I have to constantly come on here and defend Dre. Oh, he's getting paid $95 million. Trey's getting paid $200 million to shoot 5 for 18 with 16 points and 5 turnovers. That gets a pass though, right? That's okay. That's all right. That completely is okay. Bogdanovich, who just got a contract extension, he shot 3 for 10. Yeah, he hit a couple threes in the second half. Got the game, we got the game down to 12. We fought in the second half after being down 32. But what y'all are saying is it's okay for those guys to play poorly. But the moment that DeAndre Hunter plays poorly, he's trash. Get him off the team. I'm gonna leave that rant right there. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm done talking about it. I already know Dre's the scapegoat. I've accepted it. I'm not going to go further into it. We fought a little bit in the second half, and that was a great thing to see. If you end up losing this game by 30, there's probably not a lot. It's really tough to bring motivation and everything go like that going into game 2 when you get 30 pieced. Atlanta fought in the second half, and I give them credit for that. They got some defensive stops. They forced some turnovers, got into transition. Jalen Johnson had a solid overall game. Well, I wouldn't say solid because nobody really had a solid game when you're down by 30. We cut the lead down to 12 in the fourth quarter with about the 9-minute mark, 10-minute mark or something like that. And it looked like the game was going to get interesting, but even still, I knew we weren't going to, make the comeback. It was another one of those fake comebacks that we've seen this Hawks team do. Hopefully you can take it into, carry into next game, but you cannot go 5 for, 5 for 32 or something like that from 3 and expect to beat this Celtics team. You can't do it. You have to shoot better from 3 as a team, and the bench just did not play overall. Okongwu was pretty much eliminated from the entire game. He did really absolutely nothing. Again, Bogey struggled, Sadiq struggled, Trey struggled, DeJounte probably had the best performance out of everybody, and that wasn't even really a great game. Yeah, he had 24, 7, and 8 or whatever it was, but he didn't really shoot the ball particularly well. I'm not even mad about this loss. I'm really not. I'm more so mad at the fact that we blame one player on the entire roster when we're getting beat by 30. And it's unfair, man. It's just an unfair criticism. I know Dre needs to be better. I'm not saying he doesn't need to be better. And I know it. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I said it. But I'm going to continue. I know Dre needs to be better. But let's stop acting like everybody else this game was perfect and had an outstanding game because we didn't. Oh, man. Y'all had me fired up, man. Y'all had me fired up. Twitter be pissing me off, man. I gotta stay off Twitter during the games because that's really where I be getting fired up. And I'm not taking shots at anybody in particular, man. It's just a couple people I seen on Twitter, a couple posts that I seen on Twitter. That I don't even follow. They're just on my news feed, but. It is what it is. We lose game 1. I think game 2 is on Tuesday. We'll have to see how we respond. Hopefully we can get a dub in game 2, although I don't see that happening. Again, I picked us to lose this game in 5, and I'm sticking with that. We'll see what happens going forward, man, for the rest of the series. I'm going to pretty much leave it there. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. What did y'all think about this game? If you even watched it, if you turned it off, whatever it was. I was this tempted to turn it off, but I was like, dang, I can't because I want to record my video and everything and get the video out for y'all. So let me know what y'all think. I'm going to see y'all for game 2. I'll catch you on the next one.